What's up? He said, "What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel." And today we're gonna be looking at my what's going back home, what's going on back home, and back in my hometown, Chicago. So we're gonna look into it, man. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, for
We're following breaking news downtown. Police are investigating a shooting near the State Street Macy's.
Angelica Sanchez is live outside the store downtown. What's happening?
Good evening, guys. Very active scene outside the Macy's on State. We've seen a lot of first responders on the scene. I want to clear a shot of the area right now. As you can see, a lot of people were here downtown. This scene catching many people off guard. Many were here attending tonight's lights parade and other holiday actions. Right now, we know 2 people have been sent to an area hospital. One of them the victim of a shooting. Now, here's what we know happened tonight. This all unfolded around 9 p.m. near State and Washington. It is unclear exactly where the shooting took place, but we did see police tape outside Macy's doors where lots of officers are now patrolling the area and detectives clearly investigating how this shooting unfolded. All we know of the victims of this shooting is that they are both female. One of them suffered a gunshot wound and is listed in critical condition. We spoke with one man who tells us that he saw people running away from the scene.
It was like a big commotion in LA. A lot of people running, a lot of people at first I thought there was a fight, so I kind of wanted to come over and see, but everybody was just running from this area. Don't know why that could have happened. Totally unexpected.
Again, lots of police on the scene, clearly in the very early stages of this investigation. This is a developing story. When we know more information, we'll update this both on air and online. For now, live near State Street, Angelica Sanchez, WGN News.
that's wild. That's wild, though. That's absolutely wild. And this is absolutely what's going on in Chicago. For real. Let's look into this video of Cook County politicians DUI arrest release. Who is this?
Well, we're learning new details tonight about the drunk driving arrest of an elected official from Cook County 2 weeks ago, as the Chicago Police Department releases the police body cam video. It's clear the politician wasn't shy about letting officers know who she is.
Morning, how you doing? Are you all right? You need an ambulance or anything? You need an ambulance or anything? Let's walk to your car because I don't want you to get hit by a car, okay?
The first responding officer found 45-year-old Board of Review Commissioner Samantha Steele outside her car in the middle of Ashland Avenue in Andersonville. There's extensive damage to the front of her car after hitting 2 other vehicles. Steele initially refused to cooperate.
I need testing your driver's license and your proof of insurance. You see, you can provide me with those 2 things while we're waiting for your attorney to show up.
And that's when Steele referenced her political job.
Okay, ma'am, do you want me to handcuff you and arrest you? Because right now, at this point, you're refusing to provide me any... You are. You realize that, right?
I don't want you to push me.
You what?
I don't want any of this.
Well, ma'am, you're involved in an accident. You've hit several cars.
After a second officer shows up, Steele drops her political clout again.
I'm going to help you, Diggs, and you don't want that.
You don't want that. I'm an elected official.
You do. Elected official of what? Look on, you're elected which office? What's your name?
I'm Sam.
A short time later, an officer finds what police say is a half-empty bottle of wine in the front seat.
Are you drinking?
No.
Are you...
When Steele refuses to perform a field sobriety test, police take her into custody.
Sobriety test or not? You said no. I was waiting for that.
I have to arrest her.
I asked her to do field sobriety test and she refused. And she smelled like alcohol. She's been drinking.
Police charged Steele with one misdemeanor count of driving under the influence. She was elected to the Board of Review in 2022. That's the agency that hears tax appeals. So far, Steele has had no comment about that incident.
Wow, that's hilarious.
So now you can see why this plugin has a place like half my VSTs. Open Arcade has samples, instruments, and effects all in one plugin.
Welcome to Cook County, y'all. Welcome to Cook County. And she all over the news too. Now, this is what we need to look at.
Brandon Johnson has ignored every plea, call, cry. You're going to protect the undocumented. Why are you going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer?
You ain't going to abide by what the President of the United States said. Everybody know better than that. Loser, get rid of the illegals.
Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
Chicago residents staring into Mayor Brandon Johnson at a heated city council meeting last week, accused of prioritizing the needs of illegal immigrants over U.S. citizens in Chicago. T.O. Hardiman, Executive Director of Violence Interrupters, joins us now. It doesn't seem to be a popular guy, T.O., with many constituents. Who exactly does he represent these days?
Right now, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he represents himself and his party because a lot of the people in Chicago are frustrated with his performance so far as a mayor, especially when it comes down to the migrant issue here in Chicago.
So what exactly is it that the constituents are upset about?
Well, African-American people have been deprived of resources for decades in Chicago. If you travel to the south and west side of Chicago, you can count thousands of abandoned buildings, a lot of people living in poverty, and people are just upset because there appears to be a priority for the migrants compared to prioritizing some issues of single African-American women that have been living like in homeless situations. We had over 60,000 homeless people living in Chicago before the migrants came to Chicago. And the homeless people here were never a priority until the migrants came to Chicago. They're still a priority even to this date. That's the reason why a lot of African-American people are upset. Hispanic people voted for Donald Trump as well in Chicago because some Hispanic people are upset. And people need to understand this. What Donald Trump is doing here, what he says that if you come over here illegally, it's okay, but do not come to our country illegally. So I don't know why people have a problem with that, to be honest with you.
Not just Hispanic people in Chicago, but all along those counties along the border in the southern part of Texas that have been blue for so long, they went red in this election. So the president-elect went on and was elected on a platform to start deporting a lot of these illegal immigrants, beginning with obvious criminals and the trendy Aragua gang. But the leadership there in Chicago and the state of Illinois is saying, we're going to fight them every step of the way. Listen here.
To anyone who intends to come take away the freedom and opportunity and dignity of Illinoisans, I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people. You come through me.
This is the city that will remain a welcoming city. We're going to stand up. We're going to protect undocumented individuals.
A lot of people are saying that Kamala Harris lost because the Democratic Party is out of touch with what its constituents really want. But what do you think of what the officials are saying to you?
Well, people in America should understand that over 76 million people voted for Donald Trump. Also, Trump painted a very clear narrative that the Democrats have failed in the area of the economy, the conflict in the Middle East, the migrant issue, and so many other issues out there. The perceptions Democrats have truly failed. I wish the leaders in Illinois and Chicago would fight the same way for this high unemployment rate for African-American young men between the ages of 16 and 25. that's around 85%. You can check those numbers out. Why would we fight to make sure these young guys are employed here in Chicago? We have issues with gun violence all over, running rampant here in Chicago. So let's step up to the plate and be just as diligent in our efforts to kind of reverse this tide of gun violence with this illegal gun trade in Chicago as well.
So here's the dilemma with the illegal migrants. The Biden administration let about 9 million of them across the border. A good percentage of those has now taken up residence in the United States as they await asylum hearings or other legal proceedings. You can't just leave them to their own devices or they'll be starving in the streets. You've got to do something to take care of them. But at the same time, you've got to look after the community that pays taxes to you and people who have been here, for generations.
Right.
But the real trick here is how do you keep the balance between those two things to you?
You don't.
It's hard to achieve a balance because it's inhumane for some of the migrants to be in Chicago. When they first arrived here, they had babies sitting on the streets and their parents begging for money on street corners out of it. The babies had to sit out on the streets almost like 18 hours a day. And I'm not making this up. You can ride around and see what I'm talking about. The conditions, cramming people up in these places, here they call them these little migrant shelters, whatever the case may be, totally inhumane. It's hard to balance because right now Chicago is facing a budget deficit, and the mayor talked about not raising property taxes, and he had to act up a little bit recently because the city council decided not to allow him to raise property taxes. But during his campaign, he said he would never raise property taxes. So the migrant crisis has caused a lot of ripple effects here in Chicago and across our state. So it's hard to balance because we have to get our act together in our first before we. How could you have a sanctuary city if you're not prepared to provide sanctuary, adequate sanctuary in the first place? People voted for Trump as well because millions of Americans are tired of these perfect candidates. Trump is what you call the not so perfect candidate, and he was able to identify with people from all walks of life. That's the reason Trump became the president here of the United States of America. Even though he had a whole lot of issues in his background as well, people just were tired. They're tired of people just telling them anything, and that's what's going on in Chicago right now. People are being bamboozled with the migrant crisis.
People decided that they really like the Trump policies, and we'll be watching closely to see how all of this is addressed here. Hardeman, great to catch up with you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I'm Sue Busey. I'm Brian Tillman.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to our Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
This is not compassionate. We are in league with the cartels at this point to become super rich in sex and child trafficking and drug trafficking. So this really is a wall to change these issues. And the people in the cities that are saying, well, we're sanctuary cities are going to fight this. Yes, they don't need that. The federal money that comes their way. Yes, there's other ways to make them cooperate. It's a shame on them. And they're all good citizens in their own cities. Where they're right on this place out.
It's held by many people in South Shore, so I urge you to support the South Shore CBA. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Michael Young Bay.
This $70 million. $70 million. And not counting the past millions of dollars that this city done approved of, and this state and the county, etc. $70 million. Y'all won't even put $1 million in one neighborhood. $1 million in one neighborhood. Brandon Mayor Johnson, you say that you for the children, etc. You for the youth. You want to have work programs for the youth, etc. Where $1 million for these work programs for these children? See, I'm not going to address nobody in the room no more. I'm going to just address you whenever this is city council. Because I gave you a hard drive of what me and my family has experienced as far as the discrimination against me and my child and my wife. that come from places like the Safer Foundation. That come from All Chicago. That come from Bring Chicago Home. You see, that come from these ministers that y'all have. If you go look on Bring Chicago Home site, you see all them reverends and things like that. They got all these nice churches in these neighborhoods. Nice mega churches. And our people homes. And I don't even want to say our people home, because some people, we got to be honest, they do let their stuff go. They do live up in trash, etc. And willingly of their own will. But what about the face? Right, what about 79th Street? You see what I'm saying? What about the face? What about 71st Street? What about all these different streets with these abandoned buildings? With these empty lots? And then the churches come up and try to buy these lots. That's why I say to the people, come up out of her. Come up out of Rome. That's why I say that come up out of there. The snake is no good. It don't matter who they put at the head. He ain't running nothing. We got to be honest about this situation. But I'm still going to talk to you. I'm going to call you out. I'm still going to say the names. And then I'm coming down here fighting about me and my family housing and being discriminated and retaliated against, and I get attacked by Greg Mitchell. But and I still been trying to come here, be humble and things like that, and give the honors and respect and things like that, but y'all ain't trying to hear that. So now I'm gonna go press these charges and I'm gonna do this lawsuit. I'm not gonna play with y'all. I told y'all, and I got proof, I got evidence, I got the video of me having used hard drive, etc. You know what I'm saying? So I'm Michael Youngbay to the media.
Thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired. Our next speaker is Kirby Kalin.
Hello, and thank you for taking my public comment. My name is Kirby Cowan, and I am an organizer in the 32nd Ward, where I focus on expanding public access to mental health care, housing, and public safety. I'd like to start my comment by addressing the Godzilla in the room, and by that, I of course mean affordable housing. The Finance Committee endorsed the proposal for $1.25 billion for affordable housing over the next 5 years. So much of life as a Chicagoan these days is defined by the transient nature of constantly moving every year or two because you can no longer live in the community you want to place roots. And so we need to build affordable housing. Let's borrow money, let's cut some tape and build more affordable housing units across this city with speed and safety.
I also want to address
the substitute order to change the future of ShotSpotter to a ward-by-ward basis. We cannot do this. We need to cancel the ShotSpotter contract and discontinue its use citywide. An aldermanic discretion of ShotSpotter would lead to a patchwork across the city of profiling, oppression, and aggression. If we are truly to believe that policing can fight crime, we don't need to be expending their resources on something that leads to 85% of the time to incidents where there's no evidence of a gun crime, 90% of the time with no evidence of a crime at all. ShotSpotter wastes our resources and puts those that are most vulnerable at risk of being profiled and damaged by our police.
And I
also want to spend time speaking on the migrant funding.
This is a
crisis across our city, but it is not because of the immigrants, it is because of our lack of allocation of resources. This migrant crisis is a resource crisis, and we need vast resources to protect our new community members. 70 million. Hey, you can fight as much as you want, but it's true. These are our neighbors. These are now a part of our communities. Immigrants are a basis for our future of the city. Ever since the beginning to now, immigrants are the lifeblood of this city, and we need to support them. Not just in the 70 millimeter, but to address the future of this city. We need investments in affordable housing, public access to mental health care, so that these people are protected and ensure that they can live in Chicago in a community that is vibrant, depending not only on them, but the connections within the community. $70 million is a great way to start, but it's not enough. It's possible for us to not spend enough on migrant funding. It is not possible for us to spend it's not possible for us to spend too much. We're spending too little. Let's expand the money for migrants. They
need our support.
They're not
going anywhere.
We are
a welcoming city. We're going to stay that way.
So let's make
sure they are protected.
Thank you.
That's my public comments.
Whoa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is
And he's dumb.
Richard Say so.
Before the next speaker, before our next speaker, just a second, sir. Before our next speaker,
And honestly, this is why you don't have the America that you've always dreamed of. This is why you don't have the America that you always dreamed of. You have people like that who know you don't have the resources, but then they will turn around and tell you it's not enough. And you already given out, but then they telling you it's not enough. You don't even have the resources and the means to even take care of those or support those that are already there. But yet still you gonna add in more weight by bringing in a new group of people.
I would respectfully ask yet again that those that are participating in democracy allow our speakers to finish their presentation. If you cannot adhere to that expectation, I'm going to ask that our Sergeant at Arms remove you. Give our speakers the respect that they deserve. Their 3 minutes. You may commence, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody here. My name is Richard. Last name is Paso. I'm a store manager at an automotive facility here in Chicago. I'm a native to Chicago. It's near and dear to my heart. The city doesn't feel the same anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that's really hard to process. There's a lot of people here that have watched me on social media. I'm a social media influencer, and I've heard the word getting back to me. Some of the people that work for you have gotten stuff back to me. I'm going to say what I have to say regardless. You can come after me if you want. You can try to slander me if you want. Some of the aldermen can talk behind my back if you want. But there's 31 out of 50 aldermen, December 14th, that turned their back on the public, that said, I will not take their vote on this city continuing to be a sanctuary city. You turned it to yourself to speak for us. You turned it to yourself to speak for the public. We pay you. You work for us. We put you there. How can you stand there and say anything about, we don't want to take their vote? We're going to speak on their behalf, and this is how it's going to be. It shouldn't work that way. Any politician that feels like they deserve that type of control over people, they don't deserve to be politicians. They don't deserve to be in the spot that they're in. Second of all, I'm a veteran. I served 15 months in a war zone for this country where I got hurt. Yes, the VA does take care of me. But every year I'm hearing, let's take away, let's take away, let's take away, let's give back, let's take away, let's give back. But we have immigrants that serve with us, that put their life on the line, that are still fighting for citizenship, that are in the military, that deserve all the respect in the world, and they don't get it. They come back, they're still fighting for citizenship, some of them don't get it, they get deported. These are people that put their life on the line for this country, for all of you to have the freedom and jobs that you have, and they don't get the respect to have somebody care for them and help them through the process. But all of you guys out here will vote for people that are complete aliens to this country, that have nothing. Trinidad, Venezuela, anything coming from the Dominican, not the Honduras, all these people are coming here. They've cleared out these prisons years ago. And they're sending all these people here. They don't want them there. They don't serve them a purpose. They're showing up here in New York, in Chicago, attacking people in the streets. The police are fighting with them in the shelters that you guys are funding. You guys think it's a great idea, but yet your police officers are getting attacked. Your public's getting attacked. You're putting our lives at risk by doing what you're doing, and none of you care about it because the mighty dollar sits on top. And as long as somebody's in your pocket that you're working with, you're okay with doing it. You don't care about the citizens. At some point in time, There's going to be an answering for this. What it is, I don't know. But it doesn't look good. And I don't respect most of the people that are in here because you turned your back on the citizens and you said your voice doesn't matter.
What?
Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is Tuan Sims. The homeless, what is it? The HMIS, the homeless management information systems. So my number would have been 355061. That would have been issued July 15th, 2021. We financed that endeavor, right? The HMIS, that's financed and budgeted, right? Because this is what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about finance and budget. However, I'm an individual in the room. One individual. Y'all mismanaging this, failing actually. Because once again, July 15th, 2021, it's July, what is it now, what? Anybody, April 17th. I didn't sleep last night worrying about this. I didn't sleep last night imagining, how do you talk to these people to have them understand that, hey, this is difficult to deal with, especially when you're a 43-year-old resident of the city of Chicago versus being somebody who just got here, who being treated just like you should be treated. Right? I'm just saying. So yesterday was my son's birthday. If I had housing, we could have spent it pleasantly. I didn't speak to him. His name Ian Walter Sims. I actually have an order of protection. His mom got it. My son is a star pupil and a star athlete in Evanston High School. However, his father supported him to the utmost, and yet I'm attacked over this. I'm attacked maybe because of my views and the fact that to point out that our government, our city government, now that I understand, has basically turned their back on Black Chicagoans. Y'all are implementing our demise here in the city through financing and budgeting. I sit in the room and actually get the understanding now. And it's disgusting. The hardship that I'm suffering and been suffering, it seems like it's not only unintentional, it seems like it's manufactured. Like I've been pursued for the last 4 years simply for my views or simply for pointing out the fact that I'm not getting nowhere. We talk about, let's repair it. But you're going to put 70 million into this mission. 600 million in Illinois alone. 275 million more. This year counted 150 million. My HMIS number is 355061. How did y'all drop the ball for so many years on one individual? But y'all coming to budget and finance, y'all coming to budget and finance the demise of Black Chicagoans here. That's what y'all budgeting and financing. Y'all whittling us out, and y'all doing it in such a gracious fashion. Y'all representing us as y'all do it. This what y'all do. Thank you very much for your comments. Our next speaker is
He was absolutely, yo.
Have you ever tried to visit a website only to have like 90% of it taken up by ads? Pi.org is a web browser extension that lets you decide what ads you see on what websites. But here's the twist. Every ad you opt in to see.
Our next speaker is Prey Islam.
Yo, honestly, I would not be surprised if Chicago goes completely red. Because of what all them people are saying right now. They really cannot stand these people anymore. They really can't stand these people anymore. How you go from... I'm not even... Never mind. We just gonna continue watching.
Slay.
Good afternoon to the city of Chicago. I am P. Ray of the 37th Ward. Chicago Red is our organization. Because we started this session with a prayer, I want to start my comment with the scripture. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, "But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel." So I want to talk to y'all today about not going to hell. In the 37th Ward, there was a family, the Jones family. Amaria Jones was standing in her family building that they've owned for 40 years, doing a TikTok dance with her mother. A bullet came through the window, hit her in the neck. She fell to the ground in front of her mother and bled to death. A month ago on the Chicago Murder page, her mother was on that page. Her mother had on her daughter's Rest in Peace t-shirt. She washed it so many times that it was completely faded out. She was completely high out of her mind, and the charge was possession. Now, the first $51 million that this council gave to the migrants came from the opioid settlement fund. I'm here on behalf of the Jones family, on behalf of the 37th Ward, on behalf of Black Chicago, on behalf of the entire city, to ask you all to vote no and put that money back in the opioid settlement fund. We need that money in my neighborhood. We need that on my block. That woman should not be at Cook County Jail because she's grieving over a random act of violence that caused her to lose her child in front of her face, when the city of Chicago has millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to give to people who ain't paying a dime into the tax base. We've been a migrant for 52 years. We got to pay some more taxes. The Jones family has been in their building for 45 years, paying taxes every year on time. So I'm asking y'all to use our tax money for our people. We need it. We got people leaning, we got people rocking, we got overdosing, we got pass out lives. You live on the west side, Mayor Johnson. You know exactly what I'm talking about. We need the money for us. We need opioid treatment on the west side of Chicago. We are the headquarters of the cartel, and everybody in here knows it. They selling more drugs than the law can allow, and y'all giving money back to them because they traffic those people up here, so we paying them going and coming. Absolutely not. We pay too much. It costs too much money to live in this city. Help Wanda Jones. Help every other grieving mother who feels like she has to go get high to get over the loss of her child. This is a woman who lived in that house. She still sleeps in that living room. Her daughter passed out and bled to death. So I'm asking y'all to say no, put these people on the back burner, and put the money back in the opioid fund. We need that money. Thank y'all.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing that. They doing that too with the cartel.
Responsibilities that we have is to tell boys and girls, men and women, why.
It's no wonder why that city going viral.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments, Ms. Easley. The next speaker is Mr. Denzel Dillard. The next speaker is Mr. Denzel Dillard.
Yes, how you doing there, Mayor? Good afternoon. I come here for a different perspective. I come here to give you praise. I hope to soften the blow here. I think I've been sent here, after being evicted, after all the turmoil that I'm going through. I'm here to say thank you. I think you're doing a great job, despite the disparities that's going on within our communities. Shucks, I don't care what mayor was here, it wouldn't be done. But more importantly, I'm here to let you know that I'm a struggling young man. I've always, at your tenure, wanted to work for your administration. My goal is to get hired. I believe in your mission. I believe in the hope of the city. And then I see where your administration is going. I want to be a part of the process. Even if I do not work for your administration, or I hope to be hired for some job for the city. And one of the reasons that I thank the Lord that I'm here, because a lot of people don't think that I'll be hired. They think that I won't be helped by you. They think that things can't happen, to good people. I believe in you. I believe. And my goal is hopefully to work for the administration, work for the city, and hopefully to even soften the blow. Because I see so much here. I almost want to pray for this environment because I do not let anyone steer me wrong, just like you do. No matter with the bickering and the hollering, because I adore and I appreciate this whole administration, this whole body here, even the people, even that's behind me. Okay, kiss it. And just like this.
Wait a minute. He's running our city into the ground, and you believe in what he's doing?
I want to be an asset to the city and to your administration, or to some part when I'm working inside the administration. I just want to thank you, and I just want to say this very briefly. Lord, I want to thank you for this moment that you gave us. Lord, I want you to continue to bless our city. Lord, bless the people that surround us, Lord. You've been within me, Lord. Come, Spirit, Lord. You've been ever so gracious. Lord, I want to thank you for what you've done and the thing that's going to be bestowed over our lives, and the city will be greater with our help and assistance. I thank you in Jesus' name, amen. Love you, Mayor.
That is insane.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Dillard. The next speaker is Ms. Jessica Jackson.
Yo, somebody told that man in the background, you don't need no job. Damn.
Did you talk to me? So Christmas is coming early this year. We're gonna check that list when you go up on that wall for voting, and we're gonna check it twice. And we're gonna find out who's been out here nice, based on how y'all vote. And we're gonna start it off with Maria Haddon. Yeah.
Chicago and some communities so angry? Why is all this kind of anti-immigrant sentiment coming up? And I want to explain to folks, it's because if we cared as much about black people and had over the decades as we do about everyone else, we wouldn't be here. Let's money from a tweet.
All right. That would be Maria Haddon. Now, I see you don't get sarcastic because we can get jiggy, right? Uh-oh. You sit up here for that first 51 million talking about how you feel about black people and how you have to have the same energy for black people, and you ain't never stood on this floor talking about money for black people. You get on this floor and talk about black and brown because you somewhere in the middle with it, right? But I tell you this, and I'm telling every other black alderman in here today, you vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats. You can believe that. You're going to stop pimping the black people's plight to get brown people, as y'all call it, money. You're going to give us our press conference up there on the third floor, keep talking to the mayor's boy with the clink from his past. That's what you do what the mayor say do. And a lot of other ones in here with these shady pasts. That's why you gotta vote the way that you vote. But all of us ain't got shady passes. Some of us free out here, and we can vote how we want to vote, and we coming for those seats. Now, to align yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity. Because we're going to vote, and we're going to get you out, because you ain't doing right by us. That's what time it is. And for your law person that's next to you, I'm going to need you to check out that federal charge that I got against those public administrators over there for messing with black people's property. It's case number 23CB145 9-0. All right? And on that note, if y'all don't give us our money for the black community, know this, we getting ready to file a federal injunction against City Hall for benign neglect to the south side and west side. You got that? Boom.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Jackson. The next speaker is Ms. Sarah Thomas Lena.
Hello, my name is Sarah Tomas Lemna, and I'm a community organizer with Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago, and I live in the 5th Ward. I'm calling on City Council to approve $70 million in funding to support new arrivals until the end of the year. Asian Americans Advancing Justice Chicago has been working on mutual aid with new arrivals across the city for over a year now. In addition, we have been part of the Bring Chicago Home campaign and Stop ShotSpotter Coalition, as well as have advocated for long-term solutions like treatment, not trauma. The common thread in what you have heard today is our anger in a broken system that we must reimagine together. It's the system that is paying generational disinvestment in communities of color across Chicago, and this is what prevents our city, one of the richest cities in the world, from paying a little bit more into the public safety net system while schools and mental health clinics shut down in our communities. Food prices, rent, and childcare costs rise, and thousands of our neighbors continue to sleep on the streets. The common thread here is systemic racism, and these disinvestments have kept communities of color down for generations. This systemic racism has also blocked any positive action on immigration from Congress for almost 40 years. Immigrants are simply not a priority in the federal system. And so I want to speak today to urge you to vote on Friday for $70 million, which will be pulled from city reserves, not from any sort of funding to support individuals impacted by the opioid epidemic. In addition to those $70 million, we also need to start thinking about long-term solutions to fund affordable housing and economic development that will benefit all Chicagoans. So on Friday, this council will have that opportunity, and I urge you to vote yes to borrow $1.25 million over the next 5 years and to make economic security a reality for more of our neighbors. In addition, I would like to urge council to vote against the order that calls for alders to be able to choose whether to remove ShotSpotter technology on a ward-by-ward basis, and also calls for any decisions related to violence prevention funding to be brought to the Public Safety Committee and to a full City Council vote. We reject the intention and the outcomes of this order and support Mayor Brandon Johnson's decision to cancel the contract with ShotSpotter citywide. Chicago has long been a welcoming city, and we are committed to ensuring that it remains that way. We are facing a challenging moment, but it's nothing we haven't faced before. Thank you.
Shalom everyone, my name is Eris Soref, I'm the president of One for Israel. I'm sure many of you have seen news about Israel and the Middle East over the past year. It's been a very
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Thomas Linda. The next speaker is Mr. George Blakemore.
The problem is racism. I guess you can hear me. The problem is racism. This is Western Communist China. All these people are sitting here, they're a member of one party, the Democratic machine. These black ones do not have our interests. They work for the master. These big-headed white men run this system. Man, you can't run it. I was looking around and said, well, how many white women do they have here? You know, doing suffrage. The white woman didn't like that. Because she couldn't vote, and she was like a subject to a big-headed white man. So look at here, I didn't see many white women here. I wanted to. So the problem here in Chicago is racism, nepotism, corruption, a one-party system. These big-headed white men run this. This big-headed man doesn't run this. These black authors, they don't have no power. Who slaves them? Corporate America. Who runs corporate America? These big-headed white men. Now you can be in denial. Now look at you over there, Pastor, right here. Look at that while I'm talking. Young lady, sit down. Sit down. Tell her to sit down. Tell her to sit down. Say, wait a minute. If you don't like this, I'm going to tell you. I'm educating you. I'm informing you. I'm enlightening you. These big-headed white people that enslaved us brought us here. Now they're giving money to another people. Are they nappy, hair, big nose, thick lip, and a black booty hole like mine? No. No, they're not. No, they're not. And they're giving millions and millions of dollars to them. Can't you see how arrogant she is? When I told her to be seated, she go stand up and go, you work for us.
Mr. Blakemore, please stay in the microphone so we can hear you, sir. Thank you.
Something is mighty wrong here. We're still on the white man's plantation. And I want black people to be selfish. Selfish people. Self-preservation is a principle of nature. Focus on you. They're giving millions. They're showing you better than they can tell you. They're showing you that they're not giving no money to them, these big-headed white men. We're still on the plantation.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Blakemore.
Your time has
expired.
Your Honor,
there are no further speakers for public comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Blakemore.
Mr. Blakemore.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need
you all to stop shouting. This is now your second warning. I'm doing my best to remain patient. We appreciate
participating in democracy, but I would ask that you also display some decorum. Resolution.
Thank you. All right, resolution.
So that looks like Chicago gonna turn around and turn red because they're going off. He be impressed about that. Hold on, where's the peace from? Oh, lawsuit filed. So, anyways, but that's been going on. What's going on in Chicago? Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you out there.
Do you want your YouTube video to get discovered by a lot more people? If the answer then you should definitely try Promulta YouTube Promotion. What Promulta will do is take your YouTube video and distribute it through its network of blogs, website, apps, and games. This way a lot more people will discover your content. You also have a personalized dashboard